There's a road runs through this town, tells a story. It's got me exactly where I'm supposed to be. And if you're thinking of me, well, don't be worried, 'cause I'm as happy as you are, surely soon to see. And I say, come over, just come on over, you'll say. Yeah, I say, come over, come on over, you'll say. Yeah, I say, come over, just come on over, you'll see what we have here. Soon as you get moving, yeah, the sooner I can prove it, yeah. We got fields growing well along the river. There's lots of critters, they blaze a trail through my backyard. And there's trees growing tall which surround me. All this wildlife waiting for you and I to come on board. And I say, come over, just come on over, you'll say.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Portland on the Move show, the show that interacts the Town Tech Educational Partnership with Portland High School and the Portland Town Hall. I'm your host, Dave Kosminski, and this is our May show for the beginning of, well, we got Memorial Day weekend coming up and so forth, but we got an interesting show this evening. We have our brand new Park and Rec Director who just took over the duties from Mr. Sean Dwyer, Mr. Nate Foley, and welcome, Nate. Congratulations. And
Thank you.
Nate grew up in Vernon, Connecticut, and graduated from Southern Connecticut University with a BS in Recreations and Leisure Studies, and lived in Portland for just about a year, so he's a newbie, but he is the new director of the Park and Rec program for the last month, and he wants to utilize the recreation, his recreation acquired degree to improve the rec department, okay, for the town of Portland. So you're on a good start here, Nate. Fantastic. Thanks.
Yeah, so far so good.
Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
You're
So how's now that you're getting your I guess they threw you in the deep end of the pool here.
Yeah, I'd say so. They it was definitely this first month so far a bit of a whirlwind for me,
I'm
to
sure.
say the least. You know,
I'm sure.
I'm really taking a lot in, and fortunately, I do have some experience in the town already, which we'll get into a bit later. But it's an absolute blast.
That's
you know,
great.
this is really what I've been working my whole life through
It's
to
exciting.
get to this point, and
It's
you know,
exciting.
sitting in a full-time job, especially as the director of the recreation department for such a great town that I've come to know so far. It's really exciting for
Yeah,
me.
that's great. We're glad to have you. I know I've worked with you. You know, you've been working with Sean for a couple of years now, at least over a year now, I think.
Actually, just last summer.
Just
Yep,
last summer.
I knew him very briefly prior to coming on as his intern. But he's a great guy. He taught me a lot when I was here with him, and
Sure.
you know, I hope to really be able to fill the shoes that he put forth for this town.
Well, you know, he made a lot of great changes, brought a lot of new programs on, and
Right.
I'm sure you're going to do the same and pick up the torch and run with it. As far
That's the plan. That's the plan.
As far as that goes. So you know, graduate now. Where did you graduate from high school?
So I went to Rockville High School.
Okay,
I grew up in Vernon, so
Okay.
Rockville is kind of like a subsection of Vernon there.
Yeah, that's like the
And-
Gildersleeve of Portland.
Yeah, in a sense. You know, not the biggest town, but we were a population of about 30,000 compared to Portland's 10,000 or so. And I've worked in their rec department forever. You know, since I was 15 years old, I started out helping out with swimming lessons. I got hired that following summer as an actual lifeguard, pushed myself to become a swimming lesson instructor, and kind of work through the ranks and the different aspects that Vernon's recreation department offered. So I worked with their camp programs. I worked with their after-school programs as a counselor, as a director, as a program coordinator. So I
Okay.
kind of bounced through all these different roles. leading up to summertime, I would help out with the grounds work, basic mowing lawns, prepping the pools for the season.
Yep.
Just, all the general responsibilities that go
Sure.
into what a rec department does, including clerical work, answering phones,
Oh, yeah.
responding to
Yeah.
emails, just dealing with people's concerns and complaints that revolve around some of the programs offered.
So do you think that work experience, working into shaped your career path
Absolutely.
into recreation?
Absolutely. And even prior to that, when I was younger, my mom or both mom and dad would send me to, the summer camp programs offered in town.
Mm-hmm.
I always lived a minute walk away from one of the local parks.
Mm-hmm.
And the main park that housed a pool, many baseball and softball fields, a giant sledding hill, and just a large playscape that really invites the community to come in and really get involved, get active, and have that recreation available to them.
Sure, sure.
So her sending me to these different soccer programs, different summer camp programs, swimming lessons that I took myself, all these things kind of shaped the way I found to love recreation.
Okay,
the
sure.
way I was able to socialize and meet new friends and make new adventures for myself, whether it was through the leadership of counselors and program directors that kind of guided me to try different things, or just my mom pushing me to, you need to get out of the house.
Yes.
You need to do something.
Yeah,
you need to socialize.
Sure.
Don't sit behind the screen.
Right,
And,
right.
my dad was always working. My brother and I were very very rambunctious. We liked to cause some trouble. So my mom wanted to shoo us out as soon as she could.
Sure,
Go spend
absolutely.
the day at camp. Learn something new. Try something new. So
there you go.
those little extra pushes are, I think, a big part of what motivated me to kind of get where I am.
Sure.
But yeah, going back, I graduated from Rockville High. That was in 2009. And from there, I went to Manchester Community College, where I was very unsure of what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I feel like I've been pretty indecisive my whole life, but I had no clue what kind of degree I wanted to look into. So I figured my best bet, I'm at a community college, I'll shoot for general studies and, get through this
the core
associate's
courses.
degree.
Yep,
Yes,
yep.
get those core courses, the reading, the math, the sciences, knock them out of the way, and maybe by the time I finish up with that associate's degree, I'll have a clearer sense.
Figure something out.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, the students that graduate from high school today, the vast majority of them have no clue,
Right.
what they want to do.
Right.
They've seen things and been exposed to things, but, as far as in relation, okay, this is where, I want to put my eggs in one basket
Yeah.
or put my money in what school or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a big decision,
It is. It's a really big decision.
And you get to the point where, and that's the thing, I think, from a standpoint of education today. A lot of the hands-on stuff, okay, is so beneficial,
Right.
for being involved in the park and rec program as an intern, as a counselor, as a swim instructor, okay, because you really get a taste of the whole broad perspective
Right.
of recreation. I know, I've taught the town tech program in the town since 1990, and my course is primarily premised on real life hands-on experiences,
Right.
and that has proved very beneficial for students, the students that are involved in our
Yeah.
show here. I have students that have been involved in this show here that are movie makers, okay, Brendan Toller, okay, he's making movies. I've got one down working for NBC at 30 Rock,
Oh, wow.
because of his experiences and his
That's awesome.
exposure that he's gotten here
Right.
with the hands-on and so forth. So, point well taken. You get to the point where when you experience something, it'll kind of, give you a good perspective and at least a taste
Right.
of where you think you might or might not want to go. Because
Exactly.
it's, I've had students come through, they want to get involved in accounting, and we put them in the finance department, and they work in a and after 2 months, you go, yeah, I don't want to do this,
Right.
But it's better to find that out then than rather than to go down the road and and be invested in an accounting curriculum and then say, okay, I don't want to do this.
Well, I can completely relate on that front because after I finished my associate's degree, I transferred over to UConn and I switched degree after degree after degree.
See, there you
Still
go.
not knowing, all right, let me try this one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
nope, that's a miss. Let's try this one.
Yeah.
No, that's a miss. After about 3 semesters of changing degree after degree, I said, I need to take a year off. I need to figure out
Sure.
exactly what
Yeah.
I'm looking for. I continued working with Vernon Parks and Rec. One of my old supervisors had actually moved on to Tolland Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
So he dragged me along. So I was doing part-time at both recreation facilities. And I was doing a mix of, still that after-school program with Vernon, and I was helping out with rec basketball over in Tolland, helping out as like a lodge supervisor.
Yep.
We would oversee, different events, parties. We had weddings over there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I would still continue to help out in all those different aspects but what did I want to do? That was still the big question
Yep.
I kind of had rolling around my head.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend Amanda, who I'm sure I'll mention a couple more times, she was actually going to Southern
Okay.
for a master's degree in environmental education.
Okay.
And I was looking from school to school, all right, what's going to fit me? What's that degree that is really going to click?
Yeah.
And she said, Southern has a recreation degree. With all the mentors I had, all the supervisors I had through
Sure.
these different departments, I never really talked to them about, well, what did you go to school for? You
Yeah.
know, how did you end up here?
There you go.
And after I said, okay, a rec degree, that's, exactly what I've been doing for the last
Sure.
10, 11 years of my life.
Yeah.
Let's look into it.
Sure.
So I reached out to a few advisors, we started talking. I told them about my past experiences, the departments I've worked with, the programs I've done, and they were like, you're a perfect fit for this.
See?
This is what you need to do. You need to come in, meet with us,
Sure.
We'll talk through the classes, and we'll set up a plan to get you through this degree.
Nice.
And then, of course, they push for the master's as well, come back at the master's, and that's something on the sidebar right now.
Well, hey,
But
it's a goal, and
Yes.
as far as that
I think
goes,
somewhere
and-
down the road, yeah.
Absolutely. But right now, let's get you in the workforce and go from there. And just in retrospect, from I grew up in town, and
Right.
our rec department back in the day when I was growing up, we didn't have a whole lot. All we had was Saturday morning basketball, and we had Little League, and that was it. Okay, there was, there wasn't youth soccer. There wasn't, all of these camps, that you guys run. There wasn't a kids, summer program.
Right.
Okay, it was non-existent. And the park and rec director, okay, was a part-time guy. Okay, and he taught and came and coached basketball Saturday mornings at the high school. And that was it. So.
Well, kind of speaking on that, I think that's really one of the most amazing things about how recreation's evolved over the years.
Sure.
It went from a very simple, you do this, you go out, you get active, burn off some energy, a very simple few options that you had available to you to, burn some steam off, really, something you enjoyed. But now, the world's so diverse now.
Oh, sure.
Everybody has their own interests, their own desires, their own wants, and I think with us being a service industry, serving the people and the people of our communities more specifically,
Sure.
we want to know what our community members are looking for.
Sure.
What do you want to get out of what a recreation program or department's offering? Do you like basketball? Do you like football? Is it golf, tennis? Just all sports in general.
Yeah.
Or do you need care for a child because you're still at work and they're getting out of school? Can you offer after-school programs or the summer camp programs while parents are working? Do you have those amenities like a playground that you can bring your kids to and watch them develop and learn how to climb up a structure like that and go down the slide? And the smiles and the fun and the laughs and the friendships that can be built
Absolutely.
is, it's a need to be able to learn
Sure.
the different populations and understand how we can meet them
Sure.
in a diverse way.
Well, and our population in town is constantly evolving. We're beginning to get a lot of new young families
Right.
okay in town,
Absolutely.
and the younger families needs are different than us baby boomers,
Right.
for Christ's sake, that have been around and so forth. But yeah, point well taken. So going back to you've been on the job a month. So what have you been doing in a month?
Jeez. Like I said, it's been hectic.
Yep.
To say the least, it's been very hectic, but I am enjoying it. Every day, I wake up, I'm ready to come into work. I'm not dreading it, just another day. No, it's fun because
fun.
I'm learning right now.
Sure.
You know, and I'm going to continue learning because this is a huge stepping stone for me.
Absolutely.
It's, you know, like I said, I did have the opportunity to intern here. I worked with Sean over last summer, you know, every day for a full 3 months pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
And he showed me the ropes of what this department and the town really meant.
Yeah.
You know, the community and the tight-knitness
Yep, yep.
of this community. And really getting a feeling for who the people in this town
Sure.
are and what the people are looking for in this
Yep.
town, and just introducing me to all the, you know, the staff and the personnel in town. It really opened my eyes to what a small town is and, you know, how much we can work together and build a stronger community.
So now I understand. Now you just hired a new assistant.
We
so
did.
Now,
We did.
So that's what Andy
Dione.
Okay.
So I want to give a shout out to him as my new administrative assistant, and our past administrative assistant, Carol Ravicki, who's been a huge help kind of transitioning me
Sure.
into this role.
Sure. Now Andy is similar to yourself, has worked in the program, the rec department
Yes.
for as a college or as a counselor and so forth. So it's you know, I think, and that's I think the whole point. You've been able to develop a nice feeder system
Yes.
to where you can, you know, kind of hire within, if you would, and so forth. Somebody that's familiar with the town,
Right.
somebody that's familiar with the programs, and can develop that to the next level.
Right. And you know, any applicant we looked at on an equal scale, and you know, we really wanted to give everyone a chance at, you know, kind of based on their resume and cover letters, things like that, their past experience, who was the best fit. And lucky for us, it turned out to be someone who was internal, who had that experience working with our programs, who knows the community already, and has built up a sense of belonging for themselves in this town. So I think using that person to kind of transition and build our program, continue to build the departments, it's going to be a huge asset for us just having him on board compared to someone who's external.
Sure.
You know, if we landed someone external, that would be great as well, but the cards kind of fell right into our lap, and someone internal was a huge bonus.
Right. You know, now going forward, and I know, like I say, you've worked with Sean last year as an intern. Now, going forward, obviously, now you're the captain of the ship.
Right,
Okay.
right.
What goals have you set? Okay, that you would like to accomplish?
So I think a big one is really our new park that's coming on board.
Okay.
You know, that we're a little ways out on that, and we'll talk further about it. But with that new park coming on board and the new programs and activities, event ideas that we can surely implement into that park, we can't forget about the current facilities we have and the current amenities we have in town. Because if we let them all fall behind, they're going to go unmaintained, they're going to start falling apart, they're going to require more money and more work down the road to actually bring back up and have as a positive feature in town here. So while that new park is going to be amazing, it's going to hopefully fill up with people, kids, adults, families, we can't forget about what we currently offer. So with that said, we really want to take our online registration and software system, which is called RecDesk, and we can use it as a tool to help both the community communicate with us to communicate with the community in terms of, you know, general news, announcements, new programs that are upcoming. We can use that as a source to email blast out to all of our members within who have used programs with us before. And we really want to streamline that and work with our RecDesk liaisons to build that software up to be the best it can be, and, you know, continue building our user base for all of our programs, being
Sure.
youth, adult, and family oriented.
Sure.
So I think RecDesk is a huge way we can kind of build up our user base and really just make everything about our department more well-known, more streamlined, and more available.
Well, exactly, and I think, you know, RecDesk being, you know, the newer technology,
Right.
okay, to afford yourself the ability to register people online rather than to have people coming in and filling out a piece of paper
Right,
and then
right.
giving Carol a check, okay, for this, and, you know, everything can be done online.
absolutely.
And, you know, in doing that, it also is an archive for your databases, so you have their email addresses, you have their contact information,
Right.
and so forth, and when you are offering new programs, again, as you say, you can blast out, you know, to the community. And you can codify that, okay, you know, in age groups or, you know, specific interests as far as that goes. So I think that's going to be a huge tool as far as that goes. But
yeah, and all other, you know, avenues of social media can be linked right through that. We're hoping to get tutorials on there with, you know, video tutorials that can walk people through the trainings or through member registration, program registration, just because, you know, people don't like change. And when you have an opportunity like this to use a program that can create an easier alternative for both the people that are registering as well as the people who are taking the registrations, you know, it creates a stronger bond between them, and you're able to pass that information back and forth in a smoother motion. And I think by using that and providing the alerts, providing updates more regularly and frequently, people are going to understand more of what we can offer. And hopefully we can listen to those concerns and listen to those recommendations and kind of build off what the public's actually asking for.
Sure. Well, you know, the other thing too, from a standby, if we kind of went down a bullet point list of just some of the programs that you offered. I mean, I know you have your basketball programs in various age groups.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, we have rec basketball. That's a huge one during the fall and winter seasons.
Okay.
That actually just wrapped up about two months ago.
Okay.
Now. So we offer tennis programs for youth. We offer golf for youth and adults. We're partnered with the Little League, Portland Little League, and we have Little League going on for all age groups. As far as adult programs, we have an adult softball league that actually plays over at Nolan Park at Brownstone, Nolan Field at Brownstone Park. And they're there, you know, multiple nights a week playing under the lights. We have an over 40 league for men who play softball over there as well on Sundays. But with all of our field usage and the facilities, we're able to partner with the schools as well and use the gymnasiums. We utilize the middle school and the high school for our summer camp program. We actually, next Monday, have a women's drop-in basketball league starting up. You know, this is a trial run, so it's a short four Mondays, drop in, play a couple games of pickup basketball, and you know, take off.
There you go. Get the heart rate up. Get the, you know.
We have a drop-in for men's as well. So, you know, we were approached by a few women asking, is this something we could potentially get going for ourselves? And, you know, month in, we were able to make it happen. So hopefully things go well with that, and then we're able to run it back come the fall.
Well, and, you know, and to the point of, you know, the people that aren't sports orientated, you know, you've got a fairly extensive network of walking trails in the town. Okay, so I mean, one of which obviously is the newly opened airline trail. Okay, that you know, I think Lou Pear and Riz have put a tremendous amount of. Well, you had your airline trail committee, and I think that's an awesome segue for us to get into. We have a video of our new airline trail that we took, and we had our town tech program did some drone footage of it. And if you haven't seen it, it's also on our website. But if you don't have any objection, let's roll that now.
All right, let's put it on.
Let's let the folks look at and see the new airline trail and the potential of connecting to East Hampton and beyond. You know, as far as that goes. So there's a lot of potential there. So.
All right, perfect.
Kevin, why don't you roll that, and we'll do our airline trail.
Portland has a unique location for industry. The Brownstone Industrial Park is situated along the Connecticut River with easy access to Route 66 and Route 9, and also has very simple connections to 91 and 95. A deep water channel in the Connecticut River offers access that a lot of communities don't have. In addition, the Brownstone Industrial Park, a 1970s redevelopment project, offers gas service as well as municipal water, sewer, and obviously electric, and then rail. We also have planned industrial sites that are around town that plan to expand our industry in the future. Our industrial businesses begin with things as simple as hazardous waste mitigation, and we work up to more high-tech type of industries that are all located within our Brownstone Industrial Park.
My name is Jason Jarvis, and I am one of the owners of Jarvis Airfoil. I am the fifth generation into a family manufacturing business. So my great-great-grandfather worked at the Brownstone quarries and bought a machining shop up in Hartford. At some point they floated all the equipment from this machine shop down to Middletown, where we were making rotary files and flexible shafts and different sorts of equipment. And from those beginnings came out a couple of different Jarvis companies. And since 1956 on this location, we have been manufacturing airfoils, which are the little bent bits of metal that compress air in jet engines. And we've been making these parts for General Electric, Pratt & Whitney, and Rolls-Royce, and some of the other large engine manufacturers throughout the world. I think Portland's done a good job of supporting the businesses in the area. I mean, we are very interested in doing everything we can to support the community, hire people from Portland, support the various activities in the community to the best extent we can. We have about 92 employees now, and 50,000 square feet, 2+ shifts, so everybody here works about 10+ hours. And we're busy enough now that we're working on the weekends as well.
Precision Plastics started business in 1980. We do custom injection molding. We take raw plastic, which we get in pellet form. We melt it down and inject it into molds that we build here. We do business with a lot of different industrial companies. Mostly now we do medical and biotech. It's a family-owned business. We started with my mom and my dad. We've grown where my father is actually retired now. My 2 sons work here. In 1987, we moved here, reconstructed the building, added on. We installed a photovoltaic solar system. It's an 85 kW system. Now it's about 30% of our power. It's already paid for itself during those 4 years. We started business in Portland, and because we like the town. It's a small, very homey town. People are genuinely nice. It's a great place to work, to live. We all live here. We enjoy the town. When we first started business, a lot of companies were local companies. The first company we actually did business was with Standard Nap.
Precision Plastics is an injection molder, and they make all of our what we call grid fingers, which are actually the parts that kind of look like shoe horns that make the bottles fit into the partitioned cases. And you know, it's a very tricky part to mold, and they've been very successful at molding it for us. Standard Nap's been in Portland since 1940. We manufacturing packaging machineries, what's called secondary packaging machinery for the food and beverage industry and chemical industry also. General Mills is one of our customers, Anheuser-Busch, Miller Coors, a lot of the distilleries, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam are customers of ours. The machine behind me is being shipped shortly to a distillery in Indiana, and it's one of our newest models. That's actually the first of a new series of products that we call soft placement case packers that we developed here in Portland, you know, engineered and manufactured it here. Traditionally, this type of secondary packaging machine actually drops product into the case, and this machine actually picks them up and gently places them into the case and does it at a fairly high speed, up to 30 cases a minute. We have about 54 employees here in the town of Portland. Portland's treated us very well. I mean, we've been here a very long time. We would have moved a long time ago if it wasn't for the good treatment we get from the town of Portland.
If you're looking to expand or relocate, consider what Portland has to offer.
A number of our commercial businesses are focused on recreation. Along Route 66, we have access to several of our marinas. We're very lucky here to have some of the longest Connecticut River footage in Connecticut. And so we have 7 different marinas, which offer everything from ship store type products such as bottom paint to life jackets to larger yacht sales. Seasonal moorings are available, seasonal dockages. There are several town parks, including our Riverfront Park, which is accessible from Middlesex Avenue off of our main street through our village district, which is near the Brownstone Exploration and Discovery Park. The Brownstone Exploration and Discovery Park was a public-private partnership that the town developed with a private group and now exceeds 75,000 visitors a year. For those that aren't ready to jump off cliffs or go rappelling, we have 3 golf courses. We have a miniature golf course, we have a driving range. We also have a state forest here in town. In addition, there's a Premier League soccer park that has been developed. So there really is a lot to do recreationally. St. Clements Castle is a regional favorite. It's host to weddings and events throughout the year. It's situated along the Connecticut River. They also have a marina and sloping hills. The views are just spectacular. One of our most recent additions, which has been a huge hit for visitors not only from Portland but from the regional area, has been the Aragoni Winery. There's vineyards on site and they have live music. It really has become a destination on the Connecticut Wine Trail.
Brownstone Exploration and Discovery Park is a unique facility that operates out of a flooded 29-acre quarry operation here. It has walls that are 100 feet out of the water, 100-foot depths. We operate a sports park. So it's rock climbing, zip lining, wakeboarding, swimming, snorkeling, scuba diving to 100-foot depths. So we have all kinds of activities for the entire family. What we try to do is make sure we're adding more and more features, more and more activities to the park every year. We had about 65,000 people come into our facility last year. We're expecting almost 80,000 this year. So we've grown in the last 2 years, we've grown from 4 zip lines. This year we have a total of 14 zip lines operating throughout this facility. The inflatables out there, the iceberg has been a staple for the facility for about 4 years now. We've added a triangle slide out there for the kids to slide down. The most popular out there is what we call our Saturn balls. Those are 4 people on it at a time and they try to rock each other off. One of our biggest attractions is cliff jumping. Where else can you jump off a cliff in America legally today? So at Brownstone in Portland, Connecticut. This is the most successful thing that I think government and private industry can point to as a true partnership as a success story. You have a facility that was nothing, it was a concept, and in a very short period of time, we have proven not only is it something critical or important to the town of Portland, it is critical to the Middlesex Chamber and community and the state of Connecticut. We have 2 of our groups are out-of-state groups here today. So you have multiple buses coming in from New Jersey, multiple buses coming in from Massachusetts. How has it been working with Portland, the Economic Development Group, the town of Portland, the First Select Woman? It has been a great experience, and I can say that now because we're now launching Powder Ridge over in Middlefield, Connecticut.
Petzl's has been in Portland since 1945. It was a business my grandparents started on Route 66, and then in about 1962 they purchased the facility we're at presently, which is on Indian Hill Avenue. This area certainly has a lot of history. We're on the site of the former Gildersleeve shipyard, which built some very large ships. Here at Petzl's, we sell a wide variety of boats. Alongside me here is a 24-footer. So we have everything from 18 feet up to 60 feet, so a little bit of everything. My grandfather built the business on service, so we started out servicing both engines. We do fiberglass repairs, mechanical repairs. We have our own canvas shop on site along with boat sales. So, our belief is, we try and do as much in-house as possible. Portland boasts 15 miles, I believe, of river frontage. The Connecticut River makes a bunch of bends and turns, so we have some fantastic waterfront. I mean, it's a great geographic location to be in because you are centralized in the state. You're close to Hartford, you're close to New Haven, and the shoreline area. Besides my facility, there's 4 other facilities along with a couple yacht clubs in Portland. So it is a huge boating community. If you're going to be in business in a small town, you certainly have to take some leadership and some merit in the town and become a part of the community. And I think once you're a part of the community takes care of you, and you take care of the community.
Hey, we're live back here at the Portland on the Move, and again, the Portland on the Move show airs the first Tuesday of every month here live at the Comcast studio at the 199 Shunpike Road, and basically we air live from 7 to 8, and again, that's a collaboration between Portland High School and the Town Hall and the Portland Town Tech program and so forth. And again, with us this evening is the new Park and Rec Director, Nathan Foley. Okay,
Yes,
and
sir.
Again, Nathan, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And,
Thanks for having me.
We threw you in the barrel in the deep end here, but
That's
you know,
okay.
you've been used to that the
Yeah,
last month or so in the
quite all
whirlwind
right.
and so forth. So, again, some of the things that we saw, I thought the airline trail was going to be coming up, but that's going to be coming up in a little bit. But there is a lot to do here in town. You know,
Oh,
we have a lot of
absolutely.
rec facilities. The Riverfront Park has been a huge success, and that has developed along with the Portland Brownstone Exploration
Right.
Park and Quarry. So, tell us a little about, how you've incorporated the Riverfront Park into the Park and Rec Department.
So the Riverfront Park, I don't go back to when it first, was created and brought about and when the ideas were all formulating. But when I did my internship last summer, I had the opportunity to tag team with Sean in the Brownstone Quorum to really dive in and see what the concert series we offer to the town is. And, we partner up with Liberty Bank and a lot of other sponsors that really tie into the success of what those concerts are. And, they help pay for the bands to come out, and they help, do the recruiting and the advertising and all those different aspects that go into making this show a success for the town. And, we have our band shell there, we have the pavilion there, there's a sand pit for volleyball. There's some nice walking trails around the outside of the park that we actually utilize when we do our 5K in October. They're working on building a labyrinth inside, just a place to kind of go clear your mind out, walk through the little maze and just enjoy the scenery, enjoy the nature and the outdoors. All these different features of what the Riverfront Park are hopefully going to bring more people in to want to have events there, to want to hold weddings or graduation parties, little things like that, even just a day out in the sun having a picnic with your family. And the Riverfront has access to porta potties, and they also have access to fully usable bathrooms now. There's a water fountain there, there's storage rooms. And when we hold the concert series there, we kind of share a parking lot with the Brownstone Discovery Park, and we're hoping again this year for our concert series to be able to utilize the Police Explorers to really help out with that parking, kind of narrow things down so you don't have people parking left and right all over the place, kind of make that a more fluid situation for everybody incoming, because we have a lot of out-of-town guests, we have a lot of in-town guests.
Sure.
And I think that really smooths the situation out, especially the parking, when you have a lot of people who haven't been here before, who don't know the regular routine of coming into the park.
Well, the concert series has grown. Yeah, I think this is going to be the 4th or 5th year now.
I believe this is 5th.
The 5th, and so forth from when they first started. Your attendance is, depending on the bands, is usually up between 400 and 800.
Right.
And so forth. So that's huge. When we first started that, I can remember, if you got 100 people down there, that was huge. Now, we've far surpassed that. And one of the other events that you've have grown each year down there is the Haunted Trail down there that you've created.
That's more the quorum actually, but I'm hoping to kind of partner us up together to be more of a part of that and be more involved in it this year.
Sure.
So I would like to work more directly with them and hopefully make it a collaboration between both Parks and Rec and the Brownstone Quorum.
I'm sure they would be amenable. That's that would be not an issue. And of course, the Brownstone Exploration Park, I think that in itself is a destination that draws visitors, like Sean says, from all over the place. I mean, I can go down in Albany, New York, going through the Mass Pike and out that way, and I'll see billboards for the Brownstone Exploration Park. So they draw from a lot from New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, as far as that goes.
It's an amazing tourist attraction for the town, and I think aside from just them being the private organization, that's bringing people in to attend restaurants, to go to the stores around here to get extra snacks and drinks for the park. Just become aware of what Portland is and the small businesses in town that we offer, kind of help build that recognition and get their names out. But I don't know if you've ever been to the Brownstone Discovery Park.
Well, if you look at our intro, our Town Tech program filmed a lot of that, and in fact, we just revised the new intro, and Mike Cleary did the new the music for the intro and the the outro and so forth. But we did a lot of footage down there on the Brownstone Park. Me going down the zip lines, students going down the zip lines, the wakeboarding and so forth that you have, and not to mention all of the inflatable water features that are there as far as that goes. So there is a lot to do there as far as that goes. But you also have the 5K. Now, do you do one 5K run a year? Is that
yes?
Okay.
As of right now, we have one scheduled, and that runs in October. And kind of bouncing back a little bit for our concert series that we run during the summer. That's always running on Tuesday nights. it's always running at 6:30 unless we have a rain date, and then that gets pushed towards the end of the summer. And those run at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays instead. We've been working very diligently to get all our bands set up. We've actually contracted them out, so we have our 5 bands in place for this year. I think a lot of Portland residents would be happy to see that we have Great Hill Mountain Band and Michael
absolutely.
Cleary Band performing again.
Those are the local favorites,
right.
absolutely. You know, and then one of the things I book the entertainment for the Portland Fair each year, and you know, I faithfully rotate those guys out because. You know, they're the hometown favorites. They have a huge draw, so and why not include the locals?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's that's what Portland is as far as that goes.
So we are very excited for that to get up and running again.
Yeah, no worries. Now, kind of circling back on the new rec park that's going to be out there. Some of the features that are going to be employed out there, and obviously, as we bring that facility online, okay, that is going to take the place of some of the other facilities that. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the rec park actually has a lot of amenities in there. It's known right now by the Route 17 Park Complex, and I'm not 100% sure if we're working towards creating a new name for that, or if somebody has kind of set a name aside for the park and it's just not in place yet. But as we go through all of our park commission meetings, that's all things that need to be discussed moving forward. Right now, with the timeline of things, we are hoping to get the park with a limited opening come fall of this year. And I think that's really huge for us. It would be awesome if we could have it ready and going for the summertime, but the way the weather played out in the timeline of things getting started up last year put a bit of a delay on the whole process. So they are working very quick to get back in the mood or the swing of everything and really work through getting all the fields done, all the fields prepped, and building all the exterior walls around the perimeter.
So as in relation to the fields, you're going to have soccer fields?
Yes.
Okay, and so tell us a little about that now.
So we do have some soccer fields in town right now, and currently our soccer club heavily makes use of the Ingersoll fields, and that's over at Camp Ingersoll. We lease those fields from the Y. And one of the issues with using the Y fields for our soccer team is we do a lot of the maintenance on those fields, and it's hard to justify additional expenses on those fields when we don't actually own the property. Now with this new park, we'll be putting in these new state-of-the-art soccer fields that can be used by any age group, and this is town property. It's it's owned by the town of Portland, and kind of referred to and used by the community of Portland.
Absolutely.
So at that point, it makes a lot more sense to be able to put resources, put manpower, and really help maintain those fields at that rate, rather than putting money into something we don't personally own as a town. So taking those fields away, in a sense, over at the Y and creating these new fields, we're giving the kids, the adults, whoever's going to use those fields for programs in the future, a much, I shouldn't say safer, but a much more well-maintained property, and something that's going to really fit all those needs for what the soccer community can get out of them. And we do a lot of partnerships with the Portland Soccer Club. So I think really adding that in, they'll be using our Middlesex Ave fields, which are currently being upgraded. They'll be using the high school fields still, and just adding that extra soccer field or the few extra soccer fields over at the Route 17 Park. It's really going to give them all those fields they need.
So is that going to be 2 soccer fields and 2 baseball fields? And
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So now the baseball fields can be utilized for what? For softball or
so
hardball?
I believe we will be able to do a whole mix of Little League, softball, baseball, something we can get more adult programs going. As I mentioned before, we have the Adult Over 40 League that uses Nolan Field. We have our men's softball league that uses Nolan Field. So by creating more fields, that's going to give us an opportunity to really work closer with the whole Little League club and hopefully open up some possibilities for future tournaments, bring more people to the fields, non-residents, other towns that might want to get challenges and tournaments going. And we use Tommaso Field a lot, which, once again, the same thing, it's leased. It's something we're putting money and resources into that we don't own. So by taking that and putting those fields we would be using at Tommaso into this new Route 17 park, that's really opening doors for
Right.
new great facilities that are going
So
to
the
be
plan is to eliminate the Tomaso field?
ultimately.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
that's great. So, and you're also going to have what, a splash pad, correct? on
There
that?
is going to be a splash pad, which is probably one of the the most exciting features in my opinion, because I've spent my whole life in an aquatic environment.
Okay.
So I think that's going to bring people from everywhere to use,
Sure.
because there's not a pool right around the area. You know, splash pads are not something you see in a lot of towns.
Okay.
So by creating that amenity of a splash pad, it gives you some of the features of a pool. You know, you have that opportunity to play around in the water, you know, splash each other with buckets, things like that. And you have all the different spilling buckets you can stand underneath, and the sprayers, and all those fun water-related, you know, toys,
Right.
if you will.
Right.
And it's significantly cheaper than a pool.
Oh, yeah.
Significantly cheaper. You don't have all the liability that comes behind a pool. You know, you don't have that risk of drowning because there's no standing water on a splash pad. It all filters right back into the drains. So by eliminating that liability, we also don't have to worry about bringing on lifeguarding staff, you know, trained and certified, and constantly upgrading those
Right, right.
certifications to have staff that are monitoring a pool, because we don't have that standing water to worry about. So I think the splash pad alone it's a much safer alternative for the community and any families who are bringing their kids. You know, I've worked at pools forever, and I've seen plenty of parents sit on the side reading their book on their phone, ignoring their kids in the water.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of parents look at lifeguards as babysitters,
Yeah.
but a lot of parents also are right next to their kid in the water the whole time.
Right,
You know,
right.
they're sitting on the side, they're within an arm's reach, because, you know, their kid could be the greatest swimmer in the world one day and cramp up, and all of a sudden that child's in trouble.
Yeah.
These are things you don't have to worry about with a splash pad. So I think a lot of those mindsets and ideas kind of came into play when determining between a splash pad and a pool. Another really cool feature is all of that water that's filtered back into the drains will then be reused and dispensed back as a source of irrigation for the fields,
Nice.
which I think is going to save a lot of money over the long term. Now, it's going to take some time to kind of build up those savings, but that's all water we're not dumping into field irrigation,
Right,
because
right.
we're reusing what's already been used.
Well, it's, again, becoming more green conscious, if you
Right,
would,
right.
as far as that goes, so sure. Yeah, that's great. I think it's going to be exciting, you know, and, you know, the fact that, you know, it's going to take time for the fields to, you know, become more mature, to get play on them and
Right.
so forth, and I think that's where you're going to be more realistic, is probably, you know, late fall.
And that kind of goes back into the limited opening with things. You know, I think the fields will be delayed a bit further because they'll still be growing in, still, you know,
Sure.
doing the major prep for the field work. However, you know, the playground, the splash pad, we're going to have concessions there.
Right.
And a 3/4 mile walking path that goes around the whole perimeter of the park. All these things are going to be completely accessible and usable during that time period where we're working our way into the final product of those fields being
Nice.
completed.
Nice.
So I think, you know, even though everything's not going to be done at the same exact
Right.
time, we're still going to be able to make use, start introducing
Sure.
the park to the community for what it is and what it's going to hopefully
Okay.
become.
Sure. All right. Well, let's see if we can get our airline trail video up there, and we can give the folks a brief view of that and so forth. Let's see if we can get that up, Kevin, if we can. The Metropolitan District's Learn and Earn program is a 4-week paid internship introducing high school students to an array of careers within the water and wastewater industry. Recognizing the upcoming workforce shortage, the MDC has made a significant commitment to training the next generation. In the summer of 2017, the MDC collaborated with the Water and People High School curriculum to expose students to a growing environmentally oriented field.
I wanted to say I'm very happy I signed up for the MDC Learn and Earn program because it introduced us to a lot of new things I would never have known before, and it gave me some ideas on what I want to do in my occupation in the future. I just feel like it's just very fascinating just seeing everybody work so hard just to help out the community.
So in school, it's a little bit boring. Gotta sit there 2 hours in one class, but here it's hands-on. You actually get to do what the teachers are telling you.
Yesterday on the boat, We went down the Connecticut River. We took water samples from like different areas, went to the Wethersfield Cove. We went downstream and upstream of where the sewage plant puts water back into the river.
My job on the boat yesterday was to record the findings that they found from the water in the Connecticut River. I had to record the pH, the longitude and latitude, nitrate, dissolved oxygen, chlorine, and turbidity.
One of my favorite locations was the wastewater facility, because that's where I went to work for my 2 weeks. And also I like the dam too, because it looks so beautiful from the sides. And on the other side where the water was coming from looked really good.
You could see not only how a water company functions, but how a company functions in general. You see how all the different departments interrelate. And so that's applicable to more than just a water company. There's customer service and technical things that go on at an electric company, at a larger business, at an engineering firm.
For the last 2 years, the MDC has been directly involved with the Learn and Earn program, where we have students come from our member towns, go throughout our entire company, learn about the different types of jobs that are in our industry. And here today in the laboratory, we're giving them an opportunity to be mini lab technicians. They can try some of the different tests that we do in water. We love our jobs. We chose these jobs. We wanted these careers, and to have these kids come in and keep us on our toes and ask us questions, and some of them are so insightful, things we wouldn't really think about, but they're really thinking, what about your water? What about the quality? What happens when climate change happens and with weather patterns change? What is our industry going to be like? So I give them a little bit of background, but mostly I like the opportunity to challenge them. What do you think it's going to be like? This is your problem. You're the future of this industry. What can you do?
We're expecting about half of our employees to retire in the next 5 years. In order to create a pool of candidates, we're looking towards our high schools within our communities. Some of these jobs, entry-level jobs, are paying $45,000, $50,000 a year. So this would be a great career opportunity for an individual who may not want to go to college.
The water and wastewater industry is filled with dedicated and passionate individuals. And this program allows us the opportunity to share those experiences and expose these students to all the vast career opportunities that exist in a water utility. And for me personally, it's exciting and very rewarding knowing that some of these students may be the future of the MDC.
I really could see myself working at the MDC or any water facility just because I'm actually interested in water. My mom says I love water. So, and I kind of want to be a marine biologist. So working at the MDC and the Learn and Earn program gives me a huge boost.
I can definitely see myself working in the water industry because it's actually amazing. The one that I'm basically actually interested in the most is actually this one, the laboratory section. Because this is like you're testing, making sure everything works, and you actually get to like see the things actually happen. So it's like at the end of the day, you get the satisfaction saying, oh, look at that. The water you're drinking, I tested. I made sure it's okay. You're good.
The Airline Trail is a multi-use trail that is here in Connecticut. The trail in Portland is about 2.5 miles long. However, once it's connected to the East Hampton section, it'll be 25 to 50 miles. There is a section east of Willimantic that goes to Putnam, and it's part of the East Coast Greenway, which is a plan to make these trails go from Maine to Florida. The use of our trail here will be a combination of walking, hiking, jogging, bicycling, horseback riding. Most days when you come here in the parking lot of the head of the trail, there are at least 4, 5, 6 cars that are here. A dozen people or so are on the trail walking or hiking or jogging or biking. So the trail has been very well received by residents and people from the surrounding towns. This first started, our Board of Selectmen in town 4.5 years ago formed a committee of members from the town called the Portland Airline Trail Steering Committee. And our vision was to develop a trail from Portland to move eastward. The committee worked very hard in trying to first get permission to use the property. And the property was owned by Eversource, so Eversource gave us a license. And once we received that license, we then filled out an application for a grant with the Department of Environmental Protection. And then the next step was the committee said we need to select a contractor. Once the contractor was selected, we got to work.
Phase 2 will take us from the current ending point at the YMCA border through the Butler property, down Route 66 into the town of Portland. It's a long-term goal. We have a lot of activities we will need to complete to make that happen. We are also looking at the depot at the intersection of Marlborough Street and Chichito Road that will allow us to have an economic development area for the town of Portland in the future.
It's nice that the Board of Selectmen had the foresight 4.5 years ago to choose a group of people to say, listen, we'd like to have this type of trail. What do you think? How can it be done? And go ahead with it. When we see happy people and children biking and hiking and walking, it's very rewarding for us and also rewarding for the town, because this is a part of Portland's health and wellness initiative.
Lastly, if you'd like to join us and volunteer some of your time, we're always looking for new members to the committee. We also are looking for volunteers to help us maintain the trail. Please look at the webpage. It has all your contact information, or on our Facebook page. We really appreciate all the assistance we've had in the past, but we're looking forward to another 25 years, and we need your help.
Hey, and that was, we finally got to it, the airline trail. So that is a huge asset for the town of Portland. I think it's, the Airline Trail Committee deserves many kudos to make that happen. And I think it's going to be a stepping stone, and like Riz says, to get it downtown. And not only that, through East Hampton, and you can get all the way to Willimantic and Putnam.
Right.
So great. Nate, I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing your expertise. And again, welcome to the town of Portland as far as our new Park and Rec Director. And we wish you many, many years of prosperity and success. And you know, I know you got some great ideas and a lot of energy, and you're going to be a huge asset to the town of Portland. So
I appreciate that.
Mr. Nate Foley, our new Park and Rec Director, again, thank you for coming on. And again, the Park and Rec program is on the website. So if you want to check out the programs that are offered by the Park and Rec Department, please check out the Portland website. It's portlandct.org. And in the meantime, that about wraps it up for us here at Portland on the Move. Again, the Portland on the Move show airs the first Tuesday of every month, live at the Comcast studio from 7 to 8 at the 99 Shunpike Turnpike here in Cromwell. And again, we'd like to thank our Comcast coordinators, Tyler and Kristen back in the control room, and exactly our engineer tonight, Mr. Kevin Armstrong, and Mr. Caden Mazzata back there holding it all together. We had a light crew tonight, but we've got a lot of technology here. So again, thank you so much. If you'd like to be on Portland on the Move, you can contact me at the Portland Town Hall and so forth, and would love to have you on. So from all of us here at Portland on the Move, we'll see you next month.
There's a road runs through this town, tells a story. It's got me exactly where I'm supposed to be. And if you're thinking of me, well, don't be worried, 'cause I'm as happy as you are, surely soon to see. And I say, come over, come on over, you'll say.